Cinematic sea of prequels, sequels, reboots, and reimaginings, the Movie Retakes podcast considers the merits and desires for Hollywood's new takes on our beloved movie classics. Brothers Matt and Chris Sully examine the latest retake franchises, pitch their own original retake visions, and share their love for the movies that made them.
This is Big Sully.
And this is Matt Sully, and back by popular demand is our resident horror expert,
Vanessa Sully.
That's right.
I'm very impressed that Chris sounded Canadian right then. Reboot.
It was for the eerie effect.
I get it, but it worked on two fronts.
Today is a special Halloween scary movie episode. Yeah, so imagine all the special effects if I don't put them in. They're in your head already. Thanks for joining us. This spooky time of year brings costumes, candy, and some fright-filled nights of our favorite horror movies, but you don't always know what to watch. On this episode, we'll talk about the best and worst horror movie remakes, our favorite films from a variety of horror genres, and what's available now on the many streaming service platforms. All right.
What you won't hear is the voices that he was taking over for a minute.
I'm a man possessed.
He was speaking in tongues.
All right, let's get started on our Halloween remakes, the highs and lows. So what we did here is compiled a list of some of the various horror movie remakes over the years in order of worst rated remake to the best. This is all according to Rotten Tomatoes, which we use quite a bit on the show. And let's get started. The first up is Cabin Fever. The original was from 2002, so not even that old. Jordan Ladd was in this, and it was rated 62%. And then in 2016, they did a remake. Who knows why? Nadine Nicole Crocker was in this. Who knows who that is? And it got 0%. People saw it enough to give it a rating.
I don't got cabin fever.
They did not have the fever.
Next up is The Fog. Not The Mist, Chris. The Fog.
Oh, there we go.
1980, starring Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis, has 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. They did a remake in 2005 with Tom Welling and Maggie Grace, and it came in at a whopping 4%, moving on up.
That's a shame. That's cool. That's another movie that mother-daughter are in together because they're in the Halloween H2O. I don't know if they did anything else after that.
Flatliners. The original came out in 1990 with Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, and a whole slew of people that you'd recognize. Came in 48% back then. And then they did a remake in 2017 with Ellen Page, only got 4%.
That sounds high.
Ouch.
And I totally disagree with that rating. Like, Flatliners is a great movie. 48%.
It's a fabulous movie.
That's wrong. I must have wrote that down wrong. It's probably 148%.
It seems like
that takes us over to Jacob's Ladder. If you guys remember this one's whack. Back in 1990, Tim Robbins, 72%. And then they did a remake. Just don't. 2019, Michael Ealy, 5%. Way to go, Mike. You got one more than Ellen Page.
All right. I feel like if we go, there was a remake, that kind of tells us what the rating's going to be.
Yeah.
Next up, When a Stranger Calls, 1979, starring the lovely Carol Kane, 41%. They did a remake in 2006 with Camilla Bell, and we're going up to 9%.
Moving on up.
She's also
Then we got
cute.
to jump. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, starring Robert Englund, came out in 1984 to a whopping 94%.
That's correct.
But the 2010 remake starring Jackie Earle Haley only got 15%.
Yeah, that's a shame. We were looking forward to that
I
one,
had high
too.
hopes for that. I like Jackie Earle Haley.
Didn't work out, though. The original is quite good, and I think that is a good rating for that. Friday the 13th was next up. That came out in 1980 and got a 64%. And in 2009, they did a remake with Jared Padalecki. Only got 26%. So, we're in the double digits.
I remember liking that okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
All right. Now we get into the big time. Halloween, 1978. starring Jamie Lee Curtis. 96%. That's correct. The remake came out in 2007, a Rob Zombie version, so it got the appropriate 27%, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ones too, so.
Rob Zombie's visiting us.
I got the Rob
so
Zombie
cute.
pop out for that
Yeah,
one.
that looks cool.
I love it. Yeah. How you gonna take something that vicious, got the X in his head, and then make it look cute?
Do you have his wife, Sherry?
No, they haven't made Sherry Moon Zombie, but I would definitely buy that. Next one up is Poltergeist, the 1982 Craig T. Nelson and Jo Beth Williams version, clocked in at 86%, and the 2015 remake with Sam Rockwell and Rosemary DeWitt, only 31%.
Yeah, that was no good.
It wasn't good.
Carrie was good, though, in 1976 with Sissy Spacek at 93%. And, yeah, I've watched that one a couple times, and it still
Very
holds
good.
up. It's pretty good. The 2013 version with Chloe Grace Moretz, no matter how much you like her, unfortunately, only got 50%. Yeah,
was
just
meh.
lackluster. Yeah.
It was meh.
Yeah, not much to it, really.
All right, then we move on to The Evil Dead from 1981, starring Bruce Campbell. Got a 95%. In 2013, they redid it with Jane Levy, and she got a 62%. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I like her a lot, too. We went to the theater.
Yeah, we saw that at the movies.
See that. And I did like it. It's just a completely different movie.
It
Completely
was
different feel
so
to it.
bloody.
Yeah, it was gross.
Okay.
That's the trend, for sure. Child's Play, the original 1988 with Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon, came in at 71%, but the remake in 2019 with Aubrey Plaza and Tim Matheson, only 63%.
I mean, these scores are getting better, and that's the point here. We're
Yeah.
moving up in the ranks here. Yeah, look, like what you can see is a lot of the time, in most cases, we're seeing that the original is best. Then we go to Night of the Living Dead. The 1968 version with Dwayne Jones is 97%, and the 1990 version with Tony Todd, 66%. Both are quite good.
Candyman should have been in it. The actual character.
Oh, I see.
I was going to say, wait, hold on.
It
could have been
what a
cool.
neat crossover.
I'm telling you. All right, then we got The Crazies, 1973, starring Lane Carroll, Will McMillan at 67%. The wonderful remake in 2010 starred Timothy Oliphant and Rhoda Mitchell and got a 70%. That's good. We watched it not that long ago. It holds up. It's
Yeah,
spooky.
that's a good one.
I think that's the only one on the list where the remake outscored the original.
Interesting.
That's interesting. The Ring, or Ringu, from 1998, starring Nanako Matsushima, came in at 97%, but in 2002, the remake, Naomi Watts, only 71%.
Yeah, and I still have not seen Ringu. Everybody tells me it's way superior, but I enjoy.
But The Ring is really good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I will eventually, but we've seen The Ring and we like that one.
Watched that one not too long ago, too.
Yeah. Fright Night. People love this one from 1985 with Chris Sarandon. Roddy McDowell got a 92%. And then the remake with Anton Yelkin, R.I.P., in 2011. And Colin Farrell got a 72%. And that one's a lot of fun. I really
Both
enjoy
strong.
it. Yeah, they're both great movies.
I watched it last night.
Oh, cool.
Did you? Oh, that's good.
Really good.
The remake?
Yeah, I rewatched that, and then Carpenter's Vampires. I watched
Nice.
that.
Yeah, nice. All right, Cape Fear came out in 1962, starring Gregory Peck. 100%. Interesting. Remade in 1991 with the evil, creepy Robert De Niro in this role, and Nick Nolte got a 74%. That movie creeps me out.
It
He
is good.
So awful in that movie.
It's a good movie.
In the best way.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a great job.
I wonder how many movies have a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, much less some films back from that many years ago.
No.
That's crazy town.
Makes me want to go watch it.
The original It miniseries from 1990, starring Harry Henderson, John Ritter, 67%. And then the 2017 remake with Finn Wolfhard, 85%. So that one outdid the original, but then they broke it into two parts, and Chapter 2 dropped down to 64%. So on average, I guess the It remake outweighed the original.
And rounding out this group with the top rating here for the remake and a very high rating for the original is The Fly from 1958 with David Hedison. Get out of here, Fly. And 1986 with Jeff Goldblum. And this was one of our, or I was referencing this in something when we were talking about the new Cronenberg film, Possessed.
Oh, yeah.
It's his son. Yeah, Possessor. And then, but the original, his dad, Cronenberg, did the remake of The Fly, and it's disgusting, but it's really, really well done. The
I love the Jeff Goldblum one.
Oh, and you didn't say the rating. It got a 92%.
Yeah, 92%. So yeah, some of those, the original, most of them, the original comes in superior ratings. A couple of them are higher than the originals, but there's a lot of good stuff in there, especially those later ones. I mean, we like The Fly, we like Cape Fear, Fright Nights are fun. It's worth a shot. The Crazies is good. The Ring, Night of the Living Dead. A lot of these, you should go check them out. And it's just kind of fun to see these remakes, as you are probably already interested in that sort of thing since you're listening to this podcast. So you should check them out.
I want to note one thing. I think Chris said Harry Henderson for it when he read that.
Did I?
Yeah. And it's Harry Anderson. That's what I heard. Just
Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah, I think you got mixed up.
We're all in.
That needs a remake.
Whatever. Nobody even knows. Nobody's still alive. It's all Night Court.
Bull.
Aw, Night Court was great.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. Moving on, now we get to talk about, we've each compiled our own list of favorites in particular categories. So there's a lot of horror movies out there, but they're all lumped together. And so we were trying to separate these out into different kinds of categories because there's all kinds of different entertainment types in this group. And some of them are psychological and drama. Some are zombie and monsters. There's campy and funny, sci-fi, thriller and jump scares, and slasher and gore. So these are our subgroups, and we'll tell you a top 5 for each of us in each of those. In psychological and drama, my top 5 are An American Werewolf in London, Jaws, Misery, Flatliners, Heyo, and American Psycho.
Is that the tagline for Flatliners?
It is.
Hey,
Maybe
that was the tagline for the
we
remake.
are dead.
Maybe that's why it
Still
wasn't
alive.
rated so well. But yeah, and in my list, one of the main criterias is that is rewatchability. Like I want to be able to see these over and over again, and they never really get old. And for all those, every time I watch them, I really, really enjoy them.
Very nice. So my top 5 are Flatliners as well. Well, I wrote an article for your website, and I named a couple of these in my article because I had the same category. And that was Flatliners and Get Out. Then I also added The Witch, The Babadook, and then I went way back for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. For me, psychological drama needs to be when I watch it, I don't feel right. And for me, that's rewatchable. I like movies that don't have happy endings.
Yeah.
And those usually don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much as you like horror, I avoid horror, so I'm the odd man out on this. I have to come up with these lists of 5, and it was tough in some of the categories because of how few horror movies I've
I wondered
seen.
for you.
But I guess I filled out every category pretty well. Psychological and drama, that's the other part, is how to classify these
hard.
is very difficult.
It is.
But psychological and drama, I put Get Out, Seven, Identity, Saw, which could go into many categories, but I felt like that one messed with my brain more than it did my eyes, and Split. I love the M. Night Shyamalan Glass, Split, Unbreakable movies. A lot of fun. I put Split in there specifically because of how that character played out against the rest of the characters in the movie.
Yeah, that was cool. He did do a great job in that movie. Next category is zombie and monsters. All right. For me, I've got World War Z, 28 Days Later. Never get tired of watching that one. Tremors, Gremlins, and Jurassic Park. Because Jurassic Park is scary.
It was the first time you saw it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought Jurassic Park. That's
It is a
interesting.
monster movie. All right. 2 I mentioned in the article as well for zombie and monster. I did the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead because I like that one better than the original, and Train to Busan. And then I added Cloverfield, 28 Days Later, and The Lost Boys. Which could also go in psychological as well, I think. But It's a vampire movie, you know.
Yeah.
You don't really, you kind of forget that a little
Yeah.
bit. You know.
No, I
It's
have it
just drama.
in a different category as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen a bit because y'all have already named some movies I have in other categories. Zombie and monsters, I put Cabin in the Woods, which is one of my all-time favorites. I'm going to watch that again soon. Slither, because you have to have Nathan Fillion somewhere on the list. Love Slither. A Quiet Place, The Lost Boys,
Nice.
and this one could have gone under Hidden Gems, but I put it here. Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 version directed by Zack Snyder. I rewatched that one last year and forgot how great. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, nice shout out for Slither there as well. That's actually in one of my
forgot about
later lists.
Slither.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's pretty disgusting.
I need to add that to my rewatch list here.
But yeah, it's kind of fun, and it could go in this next category too, campy and funny. In here I've got, and I don't know if we all end up with this, is Shaun of the Dead's in there, Little Shop of Horrors in there for me, and it's not. I debated on that one because it's not really scary, but it is kind of. I mean, yeah,
It's a
sort of.
monster movie.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, it's in my list. Ready or Not, The Lost Boys, because there is some humor in there. It's kind of a lighter fare for vampires, and Evil Dead 2.
There are not enough musical horrors.
There really aren't. There's so much to sing about.
There really is.
I mean, you're screaming already. That's
You're screaming already.
you might as well turn it into
harmonize.
song. Yeah.
All right. For me, campy and funny, the two I had in my article, Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Ready or Not. Then I added Cabin in the Woods. Of course, Shaun of the Dead. I think we're all going to have that. And They Live.
Ooh, yeah. Oh man, that's a
I
good
put that
movie.
in there for you
I should have had that.
because I haven't
Good
seen it in a
call.
really long time,
Yeah.
but I remember liking it. And it's just so weird, but it is fun.
It's very satisfying.
It is. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I looked at a lot of lists for ideas, and I don't remember seeing They Live on a single one of them. That was a big misstep on all those lists.
Leave it to me.
That's a great movie. Well done. Yeah, for campy and funny, I'll complete the win in this category for Shaun of the Dead. We all
What do
have
we
that.
get?
One of my all-time favorites. Zombieland, Happy Death Day, Beetlejuice, and Tremors.
Very nice. Yeah, see, this is hard. Some of these can really go into multiple categories.
Sully Boys and Tremors. God, I hate that movie.
Ah, it's so great.
Oh, I love them all.
Stresses me out.
There's a
I
new
know
one
there's a
on
new
Netflix.
one that I haven't watched it yet.
I'm watching that. I bet it's horrible.
Yeah, we should definitely watch that. It's I can't even imagine what the premise. I mean, I know what the premise is, but what else can you do with that? All right. Anyway, moving on to sci-fi. So I have a weakness for this movie, Pitch Black. I like that movie. It's fun. That could go under the monsters too. Yeah, it's Vin Diesel, but
No, you lose.
don't hold that against me. Poltergeist, Predator. We watch like once a year at least for us. Attack the Block. That movie is so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, you need to watch it. And Aliens, another one you can return to all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to overlap in your sci-fi a little bit. I also had Attack the Block and Aliens, because those are both... Aliens is one of my top favorite movies of all time. I added Event Horizon, Sunshine, and War of the Worlds.
Very nice. Sunshine is a really
I
good
rewatched that one not too long ago. That was a really underrated
I really,
movie.
really, really like that movie. Yeah, Sunshine. Have you ever seen that?
No.
movie. It's great.
Yeah. Is that... I can't think of the guy in it. Is that Killian?
Yeah,
Or
Cillian
Cillian?
Murphy. Or yeah,
Killian?
Cillian Murphy. Yeah.
Cillian Murphy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's some astronauts are traveling to the sun. I'll just leave it there.
Well, for
It's
90% of the
creepy.
movie, it's just a sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
And then it's the end when it gets scary. But it's a great movie.
It's heavy.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Added to the
A
list.
lot of group you'll be watching and be like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah, you'll
I know
know
that
everybody in
person.
it.
I know that person. You know the entire cast.
Oh,
They're really great.
I like movies like that. For my sci-fi list, I also have Cloverfield. God, I can't get enough
love
of
that
that one.
movie.
I want so much from that universe. Evolution,
Oh,
which I
great.
just rewatched. So good. Aliens, Predator, and Resident Evil.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
I missed Resident Evil.
Yeah. This is nice. What a nice time we're having.
Aren't we having a great
Yeah.
time?
All right.
I feel like we're really getting to know each other really well.
See, horror brings us together. All right, moving
I've been
on
saying
to
that all along.
thriller and jump scares. Boom. We have in my list The Conjuring, Insidious, Devil, Oculus, and 1408. I love 1408.
I love all of those movies.
And yeah, as these are the ones that they scare me, and
They do scare you.
they do scare me, every one of them, and yet I really, really enjoy them after every watch.
Insidious, 3 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the afternoon, sun shining. He comes in for 10 minutes and he's like, nope.
I think Oculus in that group is the underdog for me. I really didn't expect to like that movie
Oculus
at
is
all,
great.
and
Yeah.
enjoyed it immensely. I've seen it probably 2 or 3 times now.
I could watch it again too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Thriller and jump scares. I've got Stir of Echoes. Paranormal Activity 2. Specifically 2. That one scared me. The Devil's Advocate, Candyman, and Insidious.
Thriller and jump scares for me, a category I've actively avoided for most of my life. The Thing, It Chapter 1, Brightburn, The Lazarus Effect, and finally, and this will shock you because the movie did exactly what it set out to do, I will never watch it again, Paranormal Activity.
Is that the one I made you
Terrorized
watch?
me for months.
I
What's
made
that?
you watch one of them when you were here one time.
I watched the first one with my wife at the theater, and then the third one I think we
Yes,
watched with
yes.
you. Which one's the one where it's the little girl upstairs and there's
Third
a
one.
little door in there?
Third one.
That's
Yeah.
the third one? Yeah. I've never seen the second one or any of the ones after 3, and I probably never will.
After 3, they're really, really dumb. The second one's the best one, in my opinion. I saw that in the theater with a good friend of mine, and yeah, we had our feet up on the chair and we were screaming. It was great.
Brightburn's been on my list to watch for a long time, and I still haven't seen it.
I thought you did.
No, I've been wanting to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's worth checking out for sure.
All right. Next to last category, slasher and gore. So for me, I've got Cabin in the Woods, which we heard for in an earlier category. Scream, so rewatching that again, really, really enjoy that movie. Slither, which was on your list earlier as well. That's a great movie. I really haven't seen it that many times, but the times I have seen it, it's a lot of fun. Halloween, it's just a classic. It's really, really good. It's spooky beginning to end. They did a great job. And A Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the classics.
All very gory. For me, I've got Scream also and Halloween. I couldn't decide, so I just put a Hellraiser 1 and 2. The Fly, the newer one, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Because I remember watching A Nightmare on Elm Street the first time, and it scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
Our lists are all very similar on this one. For my slasher and gore, I've got Child's Play, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Candyman.
Oh,
Nice.
wonderful. Yeah, Hellraiser was on my list, and then I had to bump it for Cabin in the Woods because I needed to put that in there somewhere because I rewatch it so much.
Yeah, and I have a little bit of a bone to pick with you. You don't make me do top 5 lists for horror movies. It's like
It's
picking
tough.
a favorite child for me.
Yeah.
This was really hard for me.
Yeah,
I
some
could have
things-
easily done a top 20 for each category. Easily.
I bet.
Yeah, sacrifices were made.
I changed it each list probably at least 5 times. No, this one wins.
I bet if we asked you to do this again next year, the list would be different too.
Challenge accepted.
There you go.
Next year, we're going to need to add another category of family horror because I do think there is something that can be scary but also good for the family as well.
That was in my article.
Like Hocus
we'll-
Pocus.
We'll
yeah,
add
Hocus
that.
Pocus I put in my article. And what was the other one?
You did have that category.
What was it? It was Hocus Pocus and Paranorman?
I believe so. It was all done on purpose.
Paranorman's a great one.
To lead you back to our website, movieretakes.com. Go check out that article.
Yes.
But our last category here on the podcast, some hidden gems, things that you probably haven't seen, and we may have talked about them before. I know a couple of the ones on my list I've talked about on the podcast, and if you haven't run out to see them yet, well, now you need to. On my list, I've got Triangle, very cool kind of almost that Groundhog Day thing where we're repeating stuff over again, but it's just really gory and scary. A TV show we watched not too long ago called
Last year, I think.
Marianne.
It's a French TV show on
French
Netflix.
TV show, very well done, very well told. It was a good one. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that one
Chris,
again.
You can't handle that one.
Yeah. Devil, also As Above, So Below, and finally The Pact, P-A-C-T. So go check all those out.
So for me, I have Eden Lake. If you've ever seen that, it will mess your brain up a little bit. It's got Michael Fassbender in it. He just mentioned Raw. That one is about cannibalism, and it's more of a psychological horror, but it is really messed up. A movie called, we can't decide if it's called Entrance or Entrance, from 2012. Check that out. It's kind of an indie film. Very creepy.
No, don't watch it. You'll never recover. Honestly, imagery from that
the end is
movie
rough.
I will never forget.
Nope,
It's
not
very,
putting it
very
on the list then.
The Descent, about some girls in a cave.
That's a great movie.
That's a monster movie.
Yeah.
That was almost on my list for
You didn't see
monster
that one?
movies. And then last, we had talked about this before. I
he
made
just
Chris
didn't.
watch Dark Skies.
I like that one. Yeah.
And I couldn't decide. I was actually between Dark Skies and Fire in the Sky. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I liked that one too. Alien abduction ones freak me out if they're done well. And I thought this one was done really, really good. Really, really well.
All right, for my hidden gems, I put /other because there were some I just couldn't wiggle into other categories. I've got The Final Girls, Krampus, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Idle Hands, and the TV series that needs to be talked about by everyone. It's one of the best things I've ever seen is What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You
It is
watched that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I watched
I'm going to do a
one
rewatch
episode.
soon.
Yeah. Krampus
And then
was
I
great.
had my own
That's a good
category
one.
here at the end called Avoid at All Costs because I thought I'd share with this. And it has a previously mentioned Paranormal Activity and Tusk, one of the worst films I've ever seen
I've heard
in my
Tusk
life.
is awful. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Love Kevin Smith, but don't watch Tusk. Ugh.
Because it's too scary and gross or because it was bad?
Ridiculous. The first half of the movie sets up something wonderful, and then the second half you're just like, can I have the 2 hours back, please? It's just, if you're ever just so bored that you need something to fill 2 hours and get mad, there you go.
I remember hearing about the premise of Tusk and never wanted to see it, but the curiosity got me of what I wanted. I wanted to know the end effect. I wanted to know what he looked like, and so I found like a clip. It was so stupid.
Oh, is it stupid?
It's
so dumb.
Well, it's
Oh.
just all. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, but anyway. All right, well, some of these movies you might find currently streaming on your favorite platforms, Amazon, Netflix, HBO Max, and YouTube. Most of them are free. Some of you might have to pay for, but not very expensive if you're looking for something to watch, like $3 or $4. And I'm going to go through some of these that are in the categories that we just covered, just sort of our recommendations of things that you can catch right now. If you can't find the ones that are from our top 5 lists. So, psychological and drama, we need to talk about Kevin, Midsummer, Hereditary, Mothman Prophecies, Get Out, The Exorcist, Psycho, Doctor Sleep, Seven, Saw, Insidious, Creep 1 and 2, As Above, So Below, and on zombie and monsters, there's A Quiet Place, which, that should have been in my list too. That's a really great movie, but just couldn't fit it in there. The Cabin in the Woods, An American Werewolf in London, The Thing, I like that movie too. Jaws, Silent Hill, Anaconda, Train to Busan, and Day of the Dead. So a lot of our stuff made it into that one. So you can find a lot of these. Campy and funny, we've got John Carpenter's Vampire, Shaun of the Dead, and on everybody's list. The Evil Dead, The Babysitter, Ready or Not, The Frighteners, and Fright Night. So that's great. A lot of these are available right now. Sci-fi, you can catch Coherence, which we didn't end up on our list, but you should check that one out. It's a really cool movie. The Fly, Poltergeist, Dark Skies, all the good aliens, Donnie Darko, and in thriller and jump scares, there's Don't Breathe, The Conjuring 1 and 2. Oculus is in there, so you can catch that one. Sinister, Green Room, Autopsy? I've never pronounced it that way in my life. The Autopsy of Jane Doe,
Trying to do an accent.
Veronica, Devil, and 1408. So some other solid ones there. And finally, in Slasher and Gore, you can find The Strangers, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream, The Crazies, Candyman, Halloween, and House of a Thousand Corpses. So a lot of these are available right now on your streaming services, so go check those out. And if you can find any of the ones we've recommended from our top 5 lists, then you definitely want to go check those out. And if there's anything we missed, whatever your favorite top 5s are, then be sure to find us on Twitter at Movie Retakes. Well, thanks for stopping by. Had a great time. Boo. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Nerds unite.